The merchandise is just not that good in Formula One. If you're
And it's
not like if
expensive
you're not like a
too.
fan of a team, it's just not that great.
Well, do you want to talk about some Formula One?
Let's talk about some Formula One. Welcome back markers. Emilia Romagna, not Monza, Italian Grand Prix debrief here. What a race. What a weekend,
Yeah,
actually, more importantly.
yeah, pretty good, all things considered.
I mean, should we talk about qualifying to start?
Go for it,
I mean, the the big accident.
dude. I saw that clip. I was like, oh fuck, there's no way he's racing tomorrow.
Right.
And then he's fine. He's got
He's
up.
fine.
He's walking around. No big deal.
Hard. Yeah, we'll get fixed. Don't worry.
Yeah, but you have to wonder: is that like? I don't want to say that like the start of a downfall. I
Red
guess
Bull
because
wanting
like
to step away from Yuki, you mean?
not even Red Bull wanting to step away from Yuki, but Yuki maybe not driving like himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, does he kind of rein it in to the point where he's changed his driving style so much that he's not able to get the maximum? Obviously, he had a great recovery drive.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up in 10th at the end of the day, right? So he got
Yep.
the points.
He's
But
yep.
you have to wonder if that like is going to have some type of effect on the rest of his performance. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like the classic second Red Bull seat, honestly. Like Pierre,
Yeah.
when he got up to the Red Bull seat, he was doing very well in the AlphaTauri Toro Rosso, whatever version it was at that point in time. Then he gets into the Red Bull seat and loses that confidence, starts crashing, doesn't really have that hold on it, and then he's kicked out shortly thereafter. That was the beginning of um what I imagined that was the first time Red Bull kicked out a driver midway through the season, right? Or had they done that before?
To my knowledge, yes. Or
Okay.
no, because they switched Kvyat and Max midway through the season.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. Oh,
Speaking of
Kvyat,
which,
who was there?
yeah, I saw that too. I wrote that down. I'm like, what the hell's Daniel doing here? They just need
Yeah.
to see his kid. I don't know, but
Yeah. You know, hey, if it works, it works, right?
yeah. But he was at the Williams seat too. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I was not sure of which garage he was in. Honestly, you know, good for him.
Yeah, the
Hopefully
torpedo.
he's thriving. I wonder what he's up to now.
Yeah, I did too. Anyways,
Yeah. Moving
moving
on.
along. So yeah, no, the Yuki crash. I mean, just absolutely crazy. I mean, that's exactly what we talk about. We're like, you want to see something spectacular, but like, do you want to see him walk away at the same time
Yeah,
too? Which
that's the most important thing is that he's okay.
I mean, it seems like there's one of those types of crashes a year now, where like something like the Zhou one when he flipped over those
Oh,
tires. You know what I mean?
that
The
was terrifying.
Oh, terrifying. Yeah, yeah. That I mean, but Yuki's was terrifying too. I mean, that car shredded apart, which that's what they're supposed to do, and I mean that's what helps them, but it just looks spectacular and scary, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that I mean, just a firework had to start there. But race, I mean lap one pretty much well, it didn't determine it, but lap one solidified it.
Yeah. Hell of a start by Max, hell of a move by Max, and then it was his race to lose from there. I
Yeah.
think he definitely got a little bit lucky with the timing of the VSC and the actual safety car.
Yeah.
But still kind of a show of why he is still that guy.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, he's the alien for a reason. So, yeah, I agree. The safety cars, I think I wouldn't want to say it was lucky because I still think he would have won the race even
Really.
without those. Yeah, because
Mhm.
I saw something earlier today where they were showing like the data with the charts about like time differentials over the course of the whole
Mhm.
race. And yes, the safety cars, I mean, it just made it easy. at that point for him where he didn't
Mhm.
have to worry or wonder like could McLaren come back or anything. He maintained and had that very consistent gap between them like throughout the entire race. Like so
Yeah.
right away off of the lap he gets around Oscar and then he gets out of DRS zone and then he just starts building essentially.
Mhm.
And then the first set of pits happened where there wasn't the safety car and um or did he pit off the safety car? When did that first one
He
happen?
pitted on the VSC.
Yes, that's
He
right.
pitted on the
Sorry. Oh, that's right,
Because
because
Norris
Norris.
they got it. Yeah, they
Yeah,
screwed it up. That was right after, right as he was exiting the pit lane was when the
is when it
VSC was
happened.
announced and started. Yeah.
Right, that's right.
Um,
But yeah, so Max pits there, but Piastri was pretty close with them because he pitted earlier in the race, right?
I think he was right after during the VSC. I could be wrong.
Yes. No, yeah, because one of
But
them was during it. That's right, because Norris was first. Okay, I remember now. They did bring Piastri in again. That's right. So, but anyways, back to the timetables. He just had the same gap like the entire way throughout all of it because they pitted roughly around the same times afterwards after that second safety car too. Which why was one a VSC and one was a full safety car? That one I didn't understand.
it was because of the positioning of the cars.
Okay.
Basically, they pulled off in pretty much the same spot. But Pierre's was a little bit closer to the place where the trackside marshals could go up to the car and just push it back into the spot where it needed to be.
Yeah.
Antonelli's such a shame,
Yeah.
such a shame.
Oh,
But
Alcon
Antonelli's
was off first, not
oh, I
Pierre.
one of
They're
the French.
French.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Even though I do have to say I like Pierre a little bit better than I like Ocon, but
Mm.
that's a whole different story that we'll probably never talk about because I don't
We
know.
can get
Doesn't matter.
into that, I think, at some point here.
Yeah, maybe if we see them go up against each other. I just thought
Yeah.
Pierre outclassed him throughout their time at Alpine.
Yeah.
But Antonelli, they needed a crane or they needed something because he was further away and further up that hill,
Gotcha.
basically of where they were.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. And rip our poor Kimmy. Yeah, the whole class was there to watch him. Like,
Which is awesome.
yeah.
Like I don't know, you gotta imagine that homework group chat is kind of going crazy. You know what I mean?
Right. Like,
So
holy shit, this guy is crazy. He's so
yeah,
good. But
yeah.
did you see that video of Toto talking to Kimmy and George over WhatsApp video? George,
Yeah.
where's my words of advice? You're the ripe old age of 27. You got to figure it out. He's 18. His whole school's here. He's never done this. He's at home. What do you think? It was so good. Just
that
most
that
German thing ever.
that Dwayne Johnson gift. Shut up, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have to wonder how that plays into George getting a seat for next year. Is that do you think that could be something there? I'm just speculating here.
I still very much think at this point that it's Georgia's seat. I don't see why they would move away from because he has been consistent. It does seem like he's been there's not been any drama that you've heard of between the two. You know what I mean? Where like with going back to Ocon for a second, there's been the worry or there was the word before this season started that really you're going to pair him with the brand new rookie like he's the guy who's no one's ever been able to get along with as a teammate and it doesn't sound like that doesn't seem like something you've ever heard out of the George Russell camp like
Yeah.
I still think that he was their initial Kimmy I guess at one point where he started with Williams obviously but
Yeah.
there's always that when's he going to move? When's he going to move? When's he just going to get over there? They want him over there. They want him over there, but you're winning with Valtteri. So I think it's George's to lose for sure. And I would imagine you do hear that he probably is re-signed, unless they win the Max Verstappen sweepstakes, and he does want to leave Red Bull. But I mean, he just won again with them, and winning cures a lot of things. So
Yeah.
if he continues to win, then I don't see why he'd leave.
And I think we gotta look at this view through the lens of the championship.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And we'll talk about the McLaren championship
Yeah,
aspect and looking at through that window as well. But you have to wonder if he had to win in Japan, he had to win here. He's had other podiums and good consistent finishes.
yeah,
Could he just sneak up out of nowhere and come in with another drivers' championship
I
out of
mean,
consistency.
I don't even think it'd be sneaking. He's right there. I mean, it's at the moment it's Oscar 146, Lando 133, Max 124. So, it's just a race weekend and he could
Yeah.
very easily be in the lead again. So it's not that he's really sneaking around. It's still, hey, this dude's the reigning four-time drivers champion. He's right there. Like it's not like McLaren's really taken that big of a lead on him in the drivers championship.
Hmm.
They're He's still very much a threat and a worry for them, I think. And for good reason, because he keeps winning. And going back to my initial point as to why I thought Red Bull was still going to win this weekend. So the timing was there, but then you also heard, I think it was Horner afterwards talk about we had a lot more pace than we anticipated. And, like in Miami, that should have been like a track where they could have maybe snuck a win out because it was a lot more slower turns and a lot more technical,
Hmm.
and that's kind of where the Red Bull has had its advantages in years past, making it up the time of the corners. This one was much more of it's a true circuit and it had a lot more fast corners where the McLaren should have been able to outpace them with their race speed and the ability to get around the track quicker, but again, that Verstappen maintained that gap the entire way through. I mean, he finished with a 6-second win over Lando at the end of it. So, and that was after they got bunched up a couple of times under safety car late into the race.
Hmm.
So they were right there at the beginning, and then he just built a 6-second gap over the last handful of laps there.
Yeah. And one more thing I want to point out about Max's race, his command of the safety car restart.
Oh,
That's something that we kind of have to take a look at because he started like they're going into the corner and then he's gone.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that you can
Just another
only
level of race craftsmanship.
yeah, and you can only get that level of experience. You can only get that I don't want to use the word experience twice in the same sentence, but you can only get that knowledge
Hmm.
through being in that position and being able to say, okay, this is where I want to do. This is my knowledge of the track.
Yeah,
This is going to fuck up everybody else behind me the rest of the way.
right.
This is going to be our best case scenario. So, our boy deserves another shout out for that specifically,
Hmm.
just because of how it shook out.
Very much so. Yeah. So the Dutchman does it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I the win honestly helped with the story arc of the season too, because I don't
Hmm.
think if he does win, I mean, it's clearly McLaren. I don't know if Max would finish third, but that gap would start to really, I think, peel away a little bit, and you have some more questions out of Red Bull.
Yeah, it's McLaren, and we have to separate the drivers' championship from the constructors' championship
Oh,
because
yeah,
McLaren, it's kind of theirs to lose, I think, because Red Bull is.
a one driver team still.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it out of my love for Yuki, but
Yeah, I'll say it for
it's
you. It's
kind
okay.
of the situation. I appreciate it. Thank you. Ferrari is nowhere near there. Mercedes is not really going to put up a challenge necessarily for it.
Mhm.
So we'll have to see. But I think it gets interesting in how McLaren handles their inter-team dynamic.
Mhm.
And we heard it over the radio. Like we heard Norris say over the radio, "Oh, it'd be good for the team if I got past Oscar."
Yeah.
But like, would it though? Because the team is going to be fine. They're going to have the good result. Like, and he said, "Oh, I'm not trying to ask for anything, but you know what the right call is." And it's just like, all right, and it's more proof that, as I've said, Lando is kind of soft. He's not going to do it.
Come on, we saw that the week before with Lewis and Leclerc. Lewis saying, "Yo, what are we doing? Like,
But they
you need
were
to let
on
me
alternate
by."
strategies, and they are not the team
But
that is
but
going to
Lando
be a
did have
country mile. No, but they're
Lando
but
had
they're
fresher
not.
tires than Oscar though.
But they're not going to be. There's no real fight for them in terms of the constructors championship. The only fight that they have is the drivers championship
Well, honestly,
between
the
themselves.
but to back Lando a little bit more there, yeah, good for him. Obviously, he's looking out for himself as he should be.
Yeah,
It's
respect.
still solo sport in a team game, which is a fun concept, and I do like that part about it. But I mean, if you do just let Lando go through, does he potentially, get a closer shot at trying to get to Max? Because I mean, the 6 second gap occurred because Lando had to get past Oscar. Like if you just let him go after Max right away, you're looking at first and third potentially, or you're still stuck at second and third,
But
and
from
then
a
it's still
team
more
pers-
points on the team perspective.
but from that team perspective, in terms of the drivers' championship, you really can't favor either guy.
Mhm.
You can't just say, "Oh yeah, just let him pass, do the thing." And then
Well,
also, we saw we saw how Lando's racecraft was against Lewis and getting baited into that DRS loop where he would pass and then Lewis would get the DRS and then just blow past him on the straight. So who's to say that he even makes that overtake?
well, it is a hypothetical at the end of the day, but they didn't give them a chance at trying to get a race win out of the weekend either. Because Lando would still be your best bet there. He was on the fresher tires, and he did get around Oscar, but he had to fight around that. Like by doing that, you basically were just saying, yeah, we're content with not winning.
I don't know if it's content with not winning, but it's content with not upsetting the apple cart between what you have and what your drivers have.
They weighed their options and determined that was the better route to go rather than causing more infighting, which I would bet is a very tense room every week.
I don't think Oscar's tense. I think he's chilling. I don't think any tension or any kind of negative feelings or anything are coming from his side of the garage. But
Well,
that's just my speculation there.
because I would imagine because we have seen it before, Oscar's probably just mainly looking out for himself anyways,
Yeah.
and that just helps the team regardless. Because
Yeah.
if he's doing the best for him, that's going to be the best for the team. And so for his perspective, it's, well, I want the best for my race no matter what, and he doesn't care what that does to Lando.
Is this you officially saying that you think Oscar's the better driver?
No,
All
no,
right.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm just
No,
saying
I just
that
had to give you the I had to give you the chance to give you the out.
no, 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 not at all. But I'm just saying that Lando was just doing the same thing there. It's the same thing, but you look at it two very different ways. That's all.
So
But McLaren, did you notice that they had very slow pit stops all race?
it seemed like it, yeah.
They messed up Oscars and they messed up Lando at one point too. Like they each had a 4 second pit. It's like, what are you guys doing? I don't know if it was the same thing, but it was like just getting the tire off was slow each time.
And I think pit stops have definitely slowed down
Hmm.
over the course of the season. Because I mean, I remember when Red Bull a couple of years ago did a 2 second flat stop, or it was like a 1.9, and it was like, oh,
Yeah,
holy shit, that's quick.
right.
They've made an effort to make the pit stop and the tire change itself a little bit slower.
Yeah,
Uh, but I mean, we still will see like I think Ferrari had the best of like 2.5.
yeah.
Um, Sorry, I was worried my cat clicked something. Um, so it'd be interesting to see, or I don't know, it would be interesting to go back and watch and see what the specific hangup was and see if it was like the same tire or the same position or something like that.
Yeah,
But yeah, they were not on the A game.
definitely. Definitely not. Yeah, because I was just looking through my notes because I thought I wrote something down. It was in between lap 46 and 58. So it was probably it was during the safety car. Norris pits and Oscar goes through slow pit stop for McLaren. That's when I wrote that because I wrote stops. So there were multiple throughout the day. Because yeah, if they didn't have the slow pit stop there, then Norris just comes out P2 ahead of Oscar still. And
Yeah.
there's not even that question then of Lando, like, well, I'm on the fresher tires. So I don't know. Just a couple of things were off for McLaren this weekend. Um, Obviously didn't expect the Red Bull and well, not Red Bull, Max to be as fast as he was, but they still get the double haul points. But Norris finishes ahead of Piastri, so he gets those extra points that he's definitely needing for his chance at the drivers' championship there too. And as we just talked about the points total, they're all within a race win from each other.
Yeah. And Oscar's still in the lead, right? Just
Oscar is
just
still
to
in the lead.
clarify.
He's got
Okay.
like a 10-point lead or something like that.
Yeah, I just wanted to check, wanted to make sure that.
I understand. I
Okay.
understand what you're trying to go for there, and I'm just gonna ignore that. I don't really care. But that brings us to a fourth place finish and a sixth place finish from Team Ferrari. Lewis with the fourth place, Leclerc with the sixth. And talk about
We
a
are so
roller
back, baby.
coaster. I don't know about back, but it was, again, just another amazingly Ferrari weekend. Because you start with the not being able to get into Q3 for either of them. And then you had a roller coaster of a race. At one point in time, Leclerc was on the radio when he pitted, and then the VSC comes out, and he comes out, and he's just like, "How does this continue to happen to me? Like, it just, I never can catch a break in this damn car." Like, and they
Yeah.
finished fourth and sixth. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It's like if you took everything outside of the results, and you were like, "Oh, Ferrari just must have had a terrible weekend." Actually, they had one of the better points hauls of the year. And you're like, "What?
And
How did that
one of
happen?"
their one of their better strategy sessions,
Mhm.
especially from Lewis's side, and seeing his energy, seeing everything, around the rest of the race.
Yep.
It was awesome to see that he kind of is finding his footing, it seems like. So I'm definitely happy about that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was very fun to see them this week and actually like have all the chaos, but get a decent result out of it still.
Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't their own doing, the
Correct.
chaos. You know what I mean? They didn't trip on their own 2 feet, which is always
Right.
something to celebrate.
Yeah, it was just they started outside of the top 10 and they had to fight into it. So good for them. I mean, honestly, yeah, that was fun to see. I did enjoy that. But then we did predict this. Another double Williams point finish. Albon and Sainz had fantastic races, I think.
Mhm.
Absolutely fantastic race. I mean, at one point I thought Albon had a chance at a podium during
Oh,
this thing.
I thought so too. His defense, um, was it was it Hamilton in the Ferrari he was defending?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. And then you have the flashbacks of, oh fuck, they're gonna crash into each other. That's gonna ruin the race. Like I was very much terrified about that for about 30 seconds.
Yes.
Um, and then can we just backtrack for a second?
Yeah.
Because there was a point where they come over the radio to Yuki and they say, "All right, Yuki, so and so's behind you, or Leclerc's behind you, or somebody's behind you. Try and hold him up as much as you can because that's Max's race."
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I was like, "That's proof of the Red Bull conspiracy." And then I remembered that he was in the Red Bull, as opposed to being in the
Into the
whatever
racing
they're
bull.
calling Toro Rosso. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just like, that's why you can't have two teams. And then I was
Yep.
like, oh no, he's on the team. Never
Yeah.
mind. I'm less mad about it. So that was a little infuriating to not be able to be mad about that, you
Yeah.
know? So
You're like, wait a minute. Oh shit. Right. I can't keep track of who's actually in what seat right now.
no,
Stuff
100%. I
happens.
immediately opened up that notes app, just started typing, and I was like, oh damn, he's in a Red Bull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. He's in the Red Bull.
So,
That's actual team orders at that point in time, not pseudo team orders.
yeah.
So, but I mean, Williams they qualified very well. They were sandwiched by the Aston Martins, which was hilarious to see. I forgot that by the time I was watching the race, I was like, oh right, Lance and Fernando are in the top 10 around the Williams, and then they just they're in an Aston Martin.
And it was more the fact I don't think that Fernando pitted under the safety car.
I don't
And
think
his
he did.
tires dropped off and fell away, and that was that. It was
Yeah,
there was no shot.
right.
Um, so
But yeah, part of Sainz's race too was he did have a little incident with Yuki when he was getting around him because they did touch, and you had the great Carlos like this guy again because they had contact earlier in the season too. So,
yeah,
but yeah, great race for Williams again. Just absolutely mind-boggling to me that they want to just, yeah, we're done with developing the car. Like they're having an insane season so far, but they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna wait until next year. It doesn't really matter.
yeah, and I mean it's a little bit of a shame, because I think they were saying that they would uh their last podium was Azerbaijan 2017.
Okay.
And who do you think did that?
Azerbaijan 2017 in the Williams.
You're never gonna guess this.
Is it Kubica?
Nope.
It wasn't Valtteri, was it?
It was not, because he was
Who
in the
was it?
Mercedes. It was
Right.
my Canadian cousin, Lance
Lance
Stroll.
Stroll.
Podium finisher, Lance Stroll.
I forgot he did that. Or
Yeah.
just has been on the podium.
Yeah. Pretty impressive, right?
That is pretty
So
impressive. Shout out Lance Stroll. Hey,
good for you, Lance.
well done.
Yeah. Well
But
done, Baku.
well done back. Oh, I love that track so much. That's such a fun one.
Were you around for that meme?
Which one?
The well done, Baku. Do you
No.
remember that? No, so the first race in Azerbaijan, they did not sell enough advertisements.
Okay.
So posted up everywhere was well done, Baku. Welcome us all. And it was the funniest shit in the world. It's like, all right, that's kind of interesting that you made that choice
Yeah.
to promote your own race and say that you did a good
Hey,
job. And it's a well, pats on the
pat
back.
on
We all
your own
deserve
back
it.
there.
But no, that is a phenomenal track. I'm looking forward to going there.
Yeah,
So
very much so. I think it's like one of the most affordable ones to go to.
are you
Like
saying what I think you're
actually,
saying, Derek?
I think that's like the potential of the first one you ever go
Are
to.
you saying what I think you're saying, Derek?
What am I trying to say?
Let's fucking go.
When?
Whenever the race is, I don't know.
We'll figure it out. We'll end
Yeah,
up in Azerbaijan.
yeah. We'll figure it out. I'm not
We'll
worried
figure
about
it
it. Yeah.
out. Just hitchhike there. Hey, can we get on the plane?
Yeah, maybe not this year, but honestly, and like that, I feel like is kind of my how I want to go to my first race. Is not any of these American tracks, but hop a plane, fly over to Europe, and be like, all right, let's check
Check
this
out a
out.
country while we're here.
Kind of do it on the cheap, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I think that's a fantastic way to do it, honestly. Because the American ones are like the most expensive on the track
Yeah,
around the year.
fuck that.
Yeah. And then yeah, I Azerbaijan is one of the most affordable ones. I forget what the list is, but I saw it recently. Or I think it was the do you get the videos of the F1 photographer guy?
Which one?
The older bald guy, and he talks about being a photographer in Formula One, and he just kind of talks about what he does at some of the tracks, and he ranks some of his favorite things that he's done, and then he went over the how much it costs to go to all of them. That's
Hmm.
how I think I remember correctly that Azerbaijan is one of the better options that way for it in terms of affordability. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, back to the race.
Back to the race.
Um, so yeah, covered Albon and Sainz. We did Ferrari with Leclerc. So yeah, George finishes in seventh. Um, I mean, not the best Mercedes weekend, obviously with um Kimi not being able to finish. Seventh place is points, but
Happens to the
that
best of us.
doesn't do a ton. But
Yeah.
that's just kind of the season I think we were expecting here a little bit, where it was, there it would be kind of back and forth like this track, depending on the track, where, you know, Ferrari might have the advantage, and then Mercedes might have the advantage, and then maybe McLaren and Red Bull, blah blah blah. Like,
Yeah.
so you're getting some of that good back and forth, which is nice.
And that's why it's fun to see like the rest of the races down the rest of the order. You know, like we were talking about Williams and them getting such a good result.
Yeah,
It's interesting to see, you know, how the rest of those fights are going to play out, and how scrappy it gets as the season goes on. You know, um, I think it was Science got out of the way of one of the top guys just because he realized it wasn't his race.
right.
You know, it was going to hold him up. It was going to cost him more time if he was fighting versus, I think it was Piastri. If he was fighting versus that higher team, higher car, and you know, it's like it's a little bit of a business decision.
Right.
You know, so that's interesting to see as the season goes on, who kind of realizes where their fight is and what they need to do.
That was always something that took me a while to figure out, and like, I guess I don't know if appreciates the right word because it still bothers me a little bit that it's like, how would you not want to fight on track for every position to some extent? Like I remember
Mhm.
when I first started watching, I despise seeing everybody just go, let Lewis through, let Max through. Like we can't fight with them anyways. And it's like I forget what weekend it was, but it was one of them crashed in 2021 or spun off or got off the track and it's like, oh my God, his race is done. He's got to go into the pits and go all the way, come all the way back from like 19th, 20th, 18th, something like that. And then like 5 laps later, it's oh, he's fighting for third now. It's like,
Yeah,
what do you mean? Like this is crazy. Like you shouldn't be allowed to just do something like that. Like, yeah, our fight's not with him. No point in trying. Like to some extent, there's gotta be something within you as a competitor where you're like, fuck that. I'm not letting this guy through this time.
yeah,
But as I've continued to watch, and it's like you do like I'm starting to understand the tire wear part of it more and more, and like how much that does like being in those battles does eat up your tracks. Like you heard
yeah,
does eat up your race. Like you heard it on the radio with Lewis today when he got through some of those guys in the early stints of the race where he was like used up a lot of tire there to get that done, guys. I got to keep an eye
yeah.
out on those. It's like
Mhm.
that's been a hard lesson to me to learn, and I'm still trying to like fully understand that part of it. But I'm starting to like get it a little bit more now too, where it's like, yeah, science saying, yeah, we'll just let Piastri through. It's like, okay, fine, but I still like begrudgingly don't like it that much.
Yeah. No, and that's fair. Speaking of tires, though,
Yeah,
we did have a new tire debuted this race.
we did.
And I think that made things a little bit more interesting. In terms of last year, the medium
Was
was
the
the soft
soft.
tier.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how they're playing with the tire compounds. And it's interesting to see, okay, what is going to cause a little bit more chaos. And I think
Mhm.
the introduction and the taking things a step softer definitely caused a little bit more chaos in a very productive kind of way. So
Yeah,
hopefully we see that through some of the other circuits. I'm not sure where else this C6 compound is going to be, but I think whenever we do get it on the on the grid, it should make things a little bit more interesting.
definitely. I definitely will not be able to tell you when that tire is going to appear. While it's exciting, I'm not really paying attention to what tire compounds are going to be at each track ahead of
No,
time.
and
I,
that's
I find
that's a
out when
hundred
they put it
percent
on my
fair.
screen for qualifying, and I'm like, oh, these are the ones they're using. Okay.
But that's something that we could keep our eyes on and be like, okay, we're seeing the softest compounds out. Who's going to have the highest degradation? Who's going to be able to keep control of their tires and manage that to the best of their abilities? So
Yeah.
we'll just have to see how it goes.
Could you imagine? I think so it's 2025. Last year, Nico was on Haas, which was 24, 23. The 2023 Haas eating up the soft brand new compound tire because the 2023 Haas was the car that just ate every single tire. Like they had the pace because they were in Q3 a bunch with Nico, but then they got to the race and after like
And then
two
just fell.
laps, tires were gone and they were right back to the back of the pack. It was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, it's like they have a fast car, but they just don't know how to figure out this tire thing. I would love to see how long they could last on the C6 with that car. Like could they even do a qualifying lap before they just lost it completely? Like, all right, you gotta do the warm-up lap. Actually, fuck it.
Never
Just
mind.
send it out the
Too
pits. You
warm.
don't got time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Jeez.
fun to see. But yes, the C6 did make it more interesting because yeah, right away they were wanting the mediums to last like 19 laps, I think was
Yeah.
what they were like
18
stretching
to
to,
20.
and people were coming in on 12
Yeah.
laps. So
We love chaos.
we
That's what
love
matters.
chaos. Absolutely love it. Let's get to our last point finishers here. Isaac Hadjar in ninth and Yuki in 10th. So going back to our old logic, Isaac Hadjar should be in the Red Bull seat next week.
Your logic, yes.
Yes.
No, I think another great showing for him, another good race for him. And where's Lawson?
I mean, Hadjar, top rookie of the weekend.
Yeah, yeah, because Antonelli's engine blew up, but
Hey, he still finished ahead of everybody else.
yeah, and I think that is the most interesting dynamic in between the rookies. Obviously, the um, Colapinto question mark is cool from one angle,
Yep.
but it's nice to see that I'm kind of thoroughly enjoying Lawson get dog walked.
Dude, he is just completely off the radar now. Not even
Yeah,
close. Yeah, because
yeah,
he finished in 14th, and ever since him losing the seat, you have not heard anything from him in terms of the
yeah.
media coverage
And
of them.
it's a little bit of a shame because Red Bull destroying another career,
Yeah,
but sucks to suck, you know?
it's a tough sport.
Yeah,
I mean, Alpine just did it to Jack Doohan,
yeah.
Well, there's potential we could see him because of the 5 race stint, but yeah, I
Mm,
mean,
I wouldn't put money on it, but
I
yeah,
would imagine they're going with Colapinto here on out. I really would. Which again, it's not like he did anything that crazy this weekend. You know,
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell you where he finished,
he was in 16th at the end of it.
because you have the thing in front of you. Would you have known if you didn't have the results in front of you?
No, not a chance.
Exactly. That's
No,
exactly the point I'm trying to
not a chance.
make.
I wouldn't have known that. And let's see, Akan DNF'd and Kimi DNF'd. Kimi doesn't DNF, he's probably in 17th there.
17th?
If Kimi does not DNF, if Kimi finishes the race, Franco's probably in 17th, not 16th there. I'm
Gotcha.
saying
Okay.
he would have at least beat Akan in the Haas. That's all.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, Kimmy probably would have been in the points.
I would imagine, which would have knocked Yuki out of the points then.
Tough.
To Yuki's credit, he has been consistent
Yeah. And
in
he
ninth
did
and
start from the
10th,
pit lane,
and he
you
started from
know?
the pit lane. So
Yeah.
that's a pretty good result for him. Having to have, I mean, historically, Red Bull does not think that's a good enough of a finish.
And
And
I'm not it's a shame because I definitely feel like I am a Yuki apologist, but at the same time, like he's doing the best he can with a kind of shit situation. So
yeah,
I'm about it. I think he's doing a good job.
yeah. This again, the second Red Bull seat is just a revolving door, but it's also like
Absolutely cursed.
cursed and just like the riskiest game you can play with your career.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do you want to be a Red Bull driver?
No.
Eh, I don't know about that one. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you could be on a top team. Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, you can't
Or
say
Max
no.
could end my career.
Right. It's like you can't say no to that.
Yeah.
If it because if they're asking, the other ones are probably not asking at that point in time. So it's like, if I want a shot at the top, I have to take this. But this fucking sucks. You know? It's like
Yeah.
you really are in a lose-lose situation there because you can't say no because then you truly won't get another option, most likely. And you can say yes, and maybe my career will be over in a year, and then I'll never be on the grid again, you know?
Do you have
Potentially.
any wild speculation for what happens with that seat next year?
I I think they go outside of the three that are on the grid right now.
Really?
I don't they definitely aren't going to put Lawson back in it.
No, no shot.
I If Yuki continues to only finish in 10th, based on everything we have seen and know about Red Bull, I don't think they'll stick with that. They'll just go, that's not good enough, and we'll find somebody else. And I mean, mm, would they try with Hadjar again? I just feel like they just don't like any of them, and they wouldn't want to put him in there. Like maybe they get another Perez type, or maybe they get Franco Colapinto to drive over there. For some reason, Horner really liked them last year. I don't know why they would,
No.
but I just don't see them going with any of the three that are on in their team right now.
Interesting.
One of them will lose a seat. How it's going, I would guess it's Lawson. They demote Yuki back down to Racing Bulls with
I
Hadjar,
don't think
and then they
so.
fill the second seat with somebody else.
I think as of right now, the best case scenario, not best case scenario, the most likely option is that Lawson's gone. And then they've also got another rookie stud, Arvin Lindblad,
Oh,
coming through the stables. And I think that he's going to be the next guy to make it into the artist formerly known as Toro Rosso seat. So we'll see. I think that we should see him next year in terms of a new rookie. I think that my kind of dream has been for Yuki to leave the Red Bull
family.
family. Yeah. For the listeners, I did finger quotes, whatever. I think that would be the best thing for his career if he were to find a new team to drive with. But at the same time, I don't see them necessarily dropping him for lack of a better replacement,
Yeah,
unless they're able to steal George from Mercedes or something like that. But it doesn't
right.
look like that's going to happen. So,
I doubt it, but I still think they go outside. I just don't think they like any of the guys there, which that's their own fault at that point in time. So
yeah, no sympathy there.
yeah. So that rounds out our points finishers there. Then we get into the non-points places, which I still will stand and say that they should have points all the way through. It would make this a lot more interesting for the back markers.
And that's fine. You can be
But
wrong about that, Derek.
it's not wrong. It's just
It
not.
is
You'll come
incorrect.
around. You'll see the light one day. I know
No, I won't. I'm right.
it. Fernando finishing 11th. We talked a little bit earlier about how Aston Martin did have a good qualifying session. Um, but again, they they're driving an Aston Martin at the end of the day, and they're just not that good this year. Um, Nico up into 12th, which is about I want to say that's about the ceiling for the green Sauber. 11th, 12th.
12th?
That's
Yeah.
that's about as good as they can do this year.
Yeah.
Bortoletto finished 18th, so he was last of the finishing classified finishers here for us. Again, I am learning nothing about him
Yeah.
this season. I'm
And
learning
it's his first
absolutely
race
nothing
back.
about him this season.
No, wait, I missed him with Colapinto. My bad.
Yeah,
Because this was Colapinto's first race
exactly.
back. Yeah,
Yes, it was
right.
Colapinto's first back.
They both end in O. Yeah, that's it. I
They're
think.
Latin.
Yeah, Latin American. You're right. Bortoletto, I think we'll see his potential next year once they rebrand to Audi and hopefully have
Yeah,
some level of competency.
right.
If that's something that they're able to manage in their first season.
Hopefully.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think that he could be a guy, but in the meantime, we're just kind of waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very much that was the setup for this is our line for 2026. We're just getting them acclimated to the team
Yeah,
first.
yeah, figure it out.
The
Don't
the
crash.
true the true we have zero expectations this year. We're truly just kicking this can until we get our full brand new team. That's all.
Yeah.
So yeah. Um, let's see. Then we get Pierre in 13th. Again, he had a good qualifying weekend. He was in the top 10. His race kind of got lost early on when he was fighting with Leclerc and went into the gravel. Was that on lap one or was that in like a lap two or three? It was
I
early on.
believe it was lap one. No, it wasn't lap one. Lap one or two. Yeah, he kind of messed it up by himself,
Yeah.
which is a little bit of a shame.
Yeah. So then he kind of finished where he came back on track, roughly. Nothing really changed too much there, but um, let's see. Where's the other Alpine? Oh yeah, Colapinto. We just talked about him. 16th. So 13th and 16th, which again, that doesn't feel much different from when Doohan was in the car.
So you have to wonder why he got the boot.
It's it's Flavio. Flavio
Yeah,
stuff. I bet you he's just a Colapinto guy.
I think he's just a money guy.
Yeah.
You know, you have to wonder what the goal of that team is. You know, is it to show up, do your best, and get the best result, or is it to get the best result from a financial transaction that might be on the table? You
Yeah.
know, because I think the kind of open secret is that that team is probably going to be for sale. The way it's been run has
Hmm.
been such a shame.
It's been very
You know,
French.
it's we it has been, you know, but yeah, it's sad to see a team that has history as much as they have really just shit the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's again, I still think they just have had way higher expectations for themselves in the last, I don't know, decade
Yeah,
than what they've actually been capable of putting out there. It's just they just don't have the magic that like they did when they won with Fernando. That's all
yeah,
it is. And yeah, whether that's from mismanagement or higher expectations of what they thought their drivers could give them, or thinking their car was just better than what it actually was. Like, yeah, it's just it's Alpine. That's all it is. It's Alpine.
there
Nothing,
we go.
nothing, nothing more to expect out of that. Let's see. Last team we haven't talked about really, other than that they caused a safety car. Haas. I
Do we
mean,
need to talk about them?
not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is something that you can expect out of them this year. This has kind of been them as a team generally. It's, hey, we're not going to be able to compete at every race. There's going to be tracks where we're going to be able to do better. There's going to be tracks and races like this where, you shouldn't really see much out of us. I mean, his engine just stopped working. It's not like he did anything wrong. Um, I thought they were going to have a double DNF there for a second because shortly after Ocon went off, they called Behrman into the pits. And then I
Mm,
remember the announcers even say, like, are they retiring this one too? Because it was so close to each other. Like, did they both just fail? But obviously he went back out there and raced. But yeah, he was out of it from the beginning. They didn't qualify well, and yeah, it was, I don't know, it was Haas. It's kind of been their motto. They're the plucky, doing it with as little as possible, and will show up at certain tracks that we're suited for, and the other ones don't expect to see us out there.
yep. Because they're doing it with as little as possible.
Little as possible.
Yep. Minimum effort. We
Yes.
love it.
Yes, not
Sounds like me
not
in high school.
Deadpool. Very much not Deadpool.
Yeah, me in high school. Minimum effort.
Yeah. So, but yeah, fun weekend. Fun weekend. Imola is a great track. I do like it. Um, Probably will get the boot though. That is also
Probably.
a joke about Italy because it's shaped like a boot. Um,
Uh, I'm glad you explained that one to me so I could groan.
yes, I'm happy to do that. I do that a lot. So, but yeah, it's I don't know. Maybe it'll stay. I know Oscar came out and said that he'd like to see it stay and doesn't want to see a lot of these historic tracks go away.
Yeah, and I mean
But
the real shame would be to lose something like putting a track like Spa on a rotation or
yeah,
anything like that. Well, Miami has a contract until 2041. That's a joke. You know, it's a shame that we're not racing at Hockenheimring in Germany. Yeah, it, money corrupts all. It's a shame that the sport is just so financially focused. So
if there's one thing we know about European run organizations, I'm hinting at FIFA here. They love money.
what? This is a new development to me.
Never heard that
I
one before?
thought they were a bastion of democracy and being
Very
well
much.
organized.
Yes. It's very Belgian.
What does that
Get,
mean? They cut
I'm
the
getting all
hands
the
off of
Europe
the people who don't produce?
that no, they just that's like where was the EU sits there. They're democracy. It's like
Oh,
Belgium,
I was
really?
thinking about their atrocities in
Rubber
Congo.
trade?
Yeah, yeah. You
No, wasn't going for that one that time.
know. All right. Well,
But hey, we get our European digs in. It's all in good fun.
I don't know about it. It's
Well,
not
not
fun for
slavery.
me. I take it incredibly seriously.
How about you? How's things going?
Smooth as sandpaper, baby.
Smooth sandpaper. I don't know
Just,
how smooth
just
that is, but
it just depends on the grit, Derek. It just
fair
depends on the
enough.
grit.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does indeed. Um, yeah, no, flight was good though. So yeah, nothing really to report from the weekend. So,
Okay, all right.
I'm
So we're
kidding.
going with the what
I'm
happens
kidding.
in Vegas thing, huh?
No, 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 not at all. Well, we can talk about it. I'll start with the dead since it's really kind of what we started with there. So the sphere is amazing. The
Yeah.
sphere is just amazing. I'm very much a sphere guy now. Almost anything that you would play there or like do, I'd be interested in seeing. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. What a place, honestly. So,
So sorry.
but
So I know you're a Swiftie,
mhm.
but like if Metallica played there, you're
I'd go
there.
see that. Yeah.
All right. If anything that like you would absolutely not want to see in any other context was at the Sphere, you would be there.
It depends. That's where I said I'd see almost anything.
Okay.
I think, or I would be have some sort of interest in almost anything because I'm sure there is something that I'm just not thinking of where I'd be like, yeah, I still don't want to see that there. But I'd probably have to think about it,
Okay.
you know? So, but seriously, so you walk up to it, and everything that I knew about the sphere was big screen shaped in a circle, well, shaped in a sphere, right? Not a screen. It's like how it's just a bunch of lights on panels. So you can see through it almost. So there's an actual like skeleton of some sort that like covers you from the elements. But I don't know if it works like the Inglewood Stadium for the Rams, where like it looks like a roof, but it's not really a roof type of a thing. I
Mhm.
don't know how that works exactly. But so yeah, you walk up to it and it's like, oh my, you can like see through it. And it's just a bunch of lights on panels. And so just that many lights from not that far away makes it look just like one gigantic TV screen, essentially. It's
That is so
wild.
cool.
So there's that. Then you walk in. The main concourse looks like to me it looked like Phantom Menace when they're doing the
Okay.
lightsaber duel. You know how it has like
Okay.
those big tall
Yeah.
pillars and
Yeah.
it looked a little bit like that to me. I was like, this is just Star Wars. This is crazy. Which I think they've turned it into a Death Star, so it definitely was Star Wars at one point in time. Um, but then the wildest thing, so you're in the concourse hanging out or whatever. You go into your seats in the little I don't even know what the how you would just what it's called, but there's like a little area before you walk out into like the stadium seating
Mhm.
or the theater seating more specifically. Dead silent. You don't hear the noise from outside on the concourse. You don't hear the noise from inside. It's noise canceling the second you walk in there because you're outside and it's not like it's anything super crazy in terms of loudness or anything like that. It's just people chatting on the concourse, right? So there's just general background noise to that.
Mhm.
And then you take a step in and it was instantaneous. There's like a sound like blockage. It's weird. And then yeah, then you go out and you're like, and then there's the theater noise. It's wild. I don't know how they did it. And then yeah, all the graphics are just absolutely insane. Like literally the entire time it was just holy crap. And honestly, The Dead was a really good way to experience it because it's not like they have a lot of words to their songs anyways. So like they're just playing music that kind of goes along with what you're seeing. And it
Yeah.
allowed you to kind of sit back and just like watch and enjoy all of that all at once. So absolutely fantastic experience. What a building. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So 10 out of 10 recommend. Anytime you're thinking like, would I want to go see this at the Sphere? You should just do it. That's what I would
The
say.
answer is just yes. Good to
The
know.
answer is just yes. Yeah, honestly. It's what a place. I cannot get over it. What an absolute place. Sorry, I have to plug my laptop in. That's what I'm doing off on the side right now.
No, you're good. That's awesome. How
Mhm.
was the rest of the trip? What else did you do?
Rest of the trip was good. I did the F1 experience. Well, I kind of did the F1 experience. So I didn't know what was all there. Like I knew they had a go-kart thing and it's the pit building, right?
Mhm.
That's there because that's the permanent structure for it now. So we walked, or we didn't walk there. We got to Vegas and then walked there. Um, Walking up to it, and it's kind of weird because it's off strip. Um, so like all the big casinos and everything else is off to your left as you're walking up to it, and then it's just kind of like there in the middle of kind of nowhere. Like there's some houses around or
Mhm.
motels or something. I don't know what it is, but um, walk up escalator thing, and then you go inside. And this place opened a month and a half ago, maybe. So they're still kind of ironing out what they're doing with it. And we just walked in. They're like, "You here for the experience?" And we're like, "We have no idea. We're just here. Like, we want to see it, right?" So they're like, "Okay, well, there's kind of like two things you can do. There's you can buy tickets for the sim racing, or you can get the package where it has a sim racing, and then you'd walk through like the building, and they had like 8 rooms set up, and you could take like a full half day exploring everything. They had like a pit
Wow.
change type of a thing where you can like change out a tire or something like that. I don't know. We didn't do that part of it. Um, and then just different rooms on like the history of F1 and um just stuff about the cars and the teams and all sorts of stuff. It was like a museum essentially. From what the way they described it, it sounded to me a lot like the NASCAR Hall of Fame. They had like a little
Mhm.
video room where you can like watch some stuff on like what the sport is and learn that way. They had cars there and exhibits and all sorts of little stuff that way. So but we didn't have time to do all of that because well we didn't really know what we were getting into. I just told Jules, I was like, I want to go see it. I don't know what it is. I just want to go see it. Like, why wouldn't I want to go look at it? So walked in. I did the sim race thing. So I get into like a full setup, and they just have you go around Vegas track. That's all they have you do, and it holy shit, so cool because it's the one where like it's like you feel all the bumps and the bolts and the jolts and everything like that. Like the
Yeah.
wheel itself looks like an actual F1 wheel. Um, they didn't have it set up for you to use the paddles. So honestly, my lap time was probably better because of that because I didn't have to
You
worry
didn't have
about
to change gears or
shifting.
anything. Yeah.
Right. But it was cool because like as you're driving, like even as it's changing gears, you feel the like movements like going forward when you're shifting
Wow.
up and shifting down and everything like that. If you hit a curb, you feel the car or like the cockpit shake along with it. Um, as you're just going down the road too, like if there's just like a bump or something, like you could feel that. You could it moves you a little bit as you're steering. You're not physically shifting this way, but like as you're making a turn, like it'll raise and lower and stuff like that. So it was insane. It was so cool. I did 12 laps of that. I did 9, and I thought my ticket said that I had 3 races, and I thought that meant like 3 9-lap races that I could do. And then
Mhm.
the guys were like, "Oh, we'll put 3 more laps on for you." I'm like, really? 3 races just means 3 extra laps? And then I figured it out later. It's 3 3-lap races. They just put it all together as a 9-lap race for you. And I was like,
Gotcha.
oh, okay. Still fun, but
Yeah.
um, I think I did like a 134.2. The best
Okay.
time on that sim was a 128 something. So I'm
Holy
like,
shit.
yeah, so I'm like, geez, I'm so far off the pace. And then I was looking up, I'm like, what's the track record? Racing pace record, I think was like a 132
That's not bad.
from the actual race itself. So I'm like, okay, sounds good, but I didn't see like what best qualifying times were or anything. So I would imagine I'm still pretty far off pace, but I'm like, damn, I thought I was killing it. Well, I knew I wasn't. The one real technical part around the sphere where it's a really tight chicane
Mhm.
um left into right. It was the immediate going right. I kept running wide or I would miss the corner. And I'm
Yeah.
like, shoot, I just could not figure that bit of the track out. But I mean, going flat out down the strip was incredible. I was like, oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
flying. I'm going 200 down. Oh, there's the Venetian. It's gone. And I'm already turning. Like, it was so cool.
That's
So
awesome.
so Julia, she didn't do the sim, but she's talking with the attendant who was there about it, and there wasn't a lot of people when we were there. So that she was able to chat with them, and they're like, she was like, "Oh yeah, I bought my husband the like a wheel in the game or whatever, and I've just got one of the little ones that you can plug into the PlayStation, not nearly this type of a setup." And she was like, "Yeah, how much do you think these types of things are?" And Julie was like, "I don't know, like 10 grand." And Julie asked me that too. I'm like, I've seen them like, yeah, they're like 10 grand. They're $500,000.
Holy shit.
The ones they have in there are like the ones the drivers actually train with.
Damn.
So it doesn't
That's
have
insane.
the platform that turns you and the
Hmm.
massive like projector screen that you see in their training facilities and stuff.
Yeah, that
But
takes
like
it up to
the
750.
the cockpit itself is like the one that they're actually using with the shocks
Jeez.
and the jolts and like all that. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, holy shit, that's even cooler now.
That's awesome.
So yeah, did that. We got to walk outside. So like essentially you were walking like what the hospitality area would be to look over the pits. Um, and then out of the way down where you could see like where part of the go track kart track is because part of it goes out onto the pit lane and then comes back inside to finish off your lap and everything. But the one thing that I thought was interesting was the space between the pit stalls is longer
Hmm.
than I thought it was. Because
Mm.
like when you're watching it on TV, they look like pretty tight
Right
where
next to
like
each other. Yeah, yeah.
they pull in on the angle, right? So because you're coming in and then it's an immediate you got to get out and go. And in my mind, I'm like, there's probably space for maybe a car length in between. That's how it looks at least. But the one at Vegas was definitely longer than that. And then as I
Mm.
was watching the race this weekend, I was thinking to myself how now seeing that I'm like, oh yeah, there would have to be a little bit more space because when they pull out, they do have to get the thing turned around and then get out, and then they're clearing. They're still close to the stall in front of you, but it's a lot wider of a distance than I thought it actually was. So like that was
Interesting.
kind of interesting to see like some of the more perspective of like, yeah, these cars are big and they still need that little bit more space. Like they can turn on a dime, but there's only so much you can still do in a confined place when you're facing the wrong way when you need to turn right. So but yeah, and then we just walked around the little gift shop in there, and that's all we really had time for before moving on. But yeah, so cool. And I was kept looking at Julia. She was like, "I'm sorry you can't do the full thing." I'm like, I got way more than I asked for out of this already. Like I'm pumped. This is sweet.
That's awesome. Was
Yeah.
there anything else that you would say that you learned or any other takeaways that you had that you didn't realize
So
before?
they had I don't know. I would imagine it might be one of them, but they had one of Alonso's Ferraris in the gift shop. So I got to look at that and like almost I didn't
So
you
fucking
can't touch
cool.
it, right? I'm like, holy shit. The the wing on that car is so narrow. I'll have to send you a picture real quick and maybe I'll
Because
put
that
it
would have
on
been
so
the
listeners can
2015
see.
cars. Yeah.
It was number 3. I didn't realize he was number 3 either, which was weird. Here, let
Yeah,
me
because that
select
was
all these real
before they
quick.
had personalized numbers.
Oh, so it did go by. Yeah, okay, gotcha. I'm gonna send you all the pictures real quick so you can kind of see what the hell I'm talking about. But yeah, the rear wing on that car, so narrow, which is weird because today's ones are as wide as like the full width of the car,
Mhm.
you know? So that was just kind of cool to see. And they're freaking huge too. And the front wing is so different on this thing. And then it had the weird like rear off the engine cab of it.
Mhm.
Like the piece that would stick out. Aerodynamics were much different, is all I can say.
Is that one of the new cars?
So that's just like a model
Yeah.
of the current era of vehicles that they had in there, which is also just massive. But yeah, it's just a show car. Yeah, that's like what they used for the what would that have been, the 21 or the 22 rules regulation release?
Yeah.
They
And
just
this would have
painted it.
been this Alonso car, I think, would have been 2013,
Mm,
I think. Because he was, I think he left by 2015. But
gotcha.
that's sweet.
But
Yeah,
oh yeah,
those
it's
ugly
the
cars. Yeah,
2013 because yeah, it
2013.
says it on here. Yep, with Felipe Massa. But yeah, what a weird because I forgot. Yeah, they had like the nose just went straight. It didn't go down onto the wing, and then they had those weird. Yeah, that was just a weird like aerodynamic era.
Wow, I see what
Um,
you're saying about the wing. That whole rear end, that whole diffuser looks insane.
yeah,
The suspension, oh my god. Beautiful cars.
crazy, right?
Great pictures, by the way. You definitely have to do a slideshow for the viewers. Um,
I'll put some up here for you so you can see. So like the one we're looking at I have up right now is the end of the pit lane and you can see where the start finish line is. It's got the checkered on that. Forgot
mhm.
that the start finish line wasn't on the strip. It is on that back end by the pits as they always are. Um because duh.
Yeah,
I don't know why I always forgot that. I'm like, why would you put it on the strip where, a lot of people are? And I'm like, oh yeah, wait, no, you have to do it by the pit road. So um anything else I learned? I mean, I didn't like learn a ton while I was there. I didn't get to see a bunch, but just because it was all right in the front when you walked in. It was just, yeah, seeing the
mhm.
car doing the sim. What one thing I did want to mention that I kind of wanted to get into as like a talking point generally is th- the merchandise is just not that good in Formula One.
And it's
If you're
expensive
not like a
too.
fan of a team, it's just not that great.
Yeah.
Because I walked around, I'm like, I'm gonna get something. I'm gonna get a hat at least because I'm a big hat guy. I didn't like a single one of the options they had in there.
Jeez.
Um, yeah, it was, I don't know, it's kind of how I felt about every time I've looked at merchandise for F1. I'm like, I still don't really like any of it, which
Yeah.
sucks because I would
I've
love to get something.
I've looked at it. I've thought about like a shirt, but like $90 for a shirt, that's fucked.
Oh yeah,
That's crazy.
it's all really, really expensive. Um, Oh, there was I forget which one it was, but there was a Ferrari hat in there, which I
Mhm.
thought about, and I'm like, if I was a Ferrari fan, I'd get it,
Yeah.
but I'm not a Ferrari fan, so I'm like, I can't justify spending the $60 for a team issued hat
Jeez.
versus just the general F1 stuff. But while we were walking around in Vegas on the strip generally, there were a couple pop-up shops with just
Mm.
like F1 gear in it, and they had Pirelli P1 hats from the races so far this year. So I was like, oh
That's
hell yeah,
sick.
I'm gonna get one of these instead. Like that's cool. $130.
Oh, that's
I'm like, I can't pull the
criminal.
trigger on that. I'm like, I just
No.
can't do that right now.
Eh,
So,
have you seen, because there were some pictures going around of the new hats for Monaco that they're doing, for that
oh,
Pirelli's doing? Oh my God, I would buy one of those because they look really, really good. And just to talk about hats again for a second, I've got two. I've got a Raikkonen hat and
okay.
I've got a Sainz hat. Both of them fit me terribly. I'm not sure if it's just because I've got a large head, but
Mhm.
I think it's designed for a European, and that's the issue.
That's my other qualm with racing hats because the two racing hats I have, one is from Detroit Grand Prix and the other was
Mhm.
from the Indy 500 last year. They very much are European style and fit, and
Yeah,
they just don't feel right
yeah,
on my head. I'm like, I need the new era 59, 50 fit,
yeah.
something like that, and
It's
they just don't have it. So
it's
that
nice for
sucks.
decoration. It's nice to have. I
Mhm.
can put it on and I can wear it, but I just my head is too large for that.
Yeah,
So
no, it's like you say, very much European and they fit kind of like European shirts fit. Like last year on my honeymoon, I bought a polo because it said St. Andrews Links on it. It's cat fault.
yeah, dude, I was worried. Cat was tweaking.
So I see this shirt, I'm like, I gotta get it. I don't know if I'm ever actually gonna go to St. Andrews, but I'm in Scotland, like it kind of fits. So I
Yeah,
bought it and it's a large. I'm like, oh, I'll fit in a large. Every now and then when I wear it, I'm like, shoulders are just a little bit
I'm
more
about to Hulk out of
narrow.
this thing. Yeah,
I'm not that bad on it, but I did forget because the one time when I went to Germany and I bought something, I was like, oh, I was in high school, so I was a small at that time because I was tiny at that point. I put it on, I was like, it seems fine, and then like a year later, I'm still small, but I'm like, doesn't fit right. So yeah, European sizing is just not meant for Americans like us. We need
yeah.
to update or upgrade Formula One gear and merch. Maybe we just have to start our own line of business and just go like, this is F1 shit for Americans because this is
There
what
we
we
go.
like.
Hey, it's like those dudes that sell t-shirts outside of like basketball games and stuff, or baseball
Right.
games that are clearly knockoffs but
Yeah.
half the price.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I'm getting one of those.
Right. Just like the U jersey. I get that out on TikTok all the time. It's like, look at these NFL jerseys. They're like $40. I'm like, that's insane, but they're stitched. How do you get away with that?
Hey, hey,
It used
sweatshop
to
in
be
Thailand.
the fake ones were iron-ons, and now the official gears are all iron-ons. Like, what are we
See,
doing here?
and that's the problem I have with Fanatics, among other things. The quality has gone down
It's just not
tremendously.
good. Yeah,
I
Fnatic
ordered
stuff is not good.
I ordered a hockey jersey. It came with the numbers peeled off.
Yeah,
Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you fuck that up?
right.
You know?
That was like the
So
whole controversy with the baseball jerseys last year.
that were ripping, that literally couldn't stand up to a fucking game.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a shame that they have a monopoly, and I'm all for counterfeit merchandise. Like as much as one can be, but if you're gonna put out something that's absolute dog shit and charge it like it's hand stitched by you
right. Like the
fucking
way it used to be. It's like, hey, these are what
yeah
the guys are wearing because it's this nice hand stitched thing. Like it's not gonna fall
yeah
apart. Like the count. It's just got a whole role reversal because the guys in the field they're wearing primarily printed on shit now too, and it's like, why can't they even wear stitch stuff? Like that's crazy.
yeah. It's a shame,
Yeah.
really is.
So yeah, we need to update F1 merch and get American fits and sizes because stuff they got out there is not great. Honestly,
Sounds like a good business plan to me.
it is kind of crazy because like maybe a year or two ago, like there wasn't really like an official like place to go buy your merchandise, like if you wanted to shop online.
Mhm.
And not every team even had anything. Like I remember when I first started following, I was like, maybe I get like something from Haas. They didn't even have stuff you could buy. Like it was just Ferrari, just Mercedes, and just Red Bull. Like McLaren
Yeah.
barely had options at that point too. It's like, what
Mhm.
are we doing here? So it looks like they're trying to make the next step, but it's just like, ugh, it's not
Yeah.
really there yet. So
They'll get their merch up to speed once they seriously break into the American market. We'll
definitely,
see.
yeah,
Oh
100%.
yeah.
So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
F1 thing was cool. Rest of the weekend was very much fun. I mean, it was Vegas stuff. We got to, walked up and down the strip, went in some casinos, gambled a little bit
Did you
responsibly.
win?
No, we didn't win.
Why would you
Um,
gamble responsibly? What's wrong with you?
Set a budget and, I stuck to it. I actually didn't spend everything, which is really good by me. So no, it was after the first day of gambling, because the first day we were there, we did the concert, so we didn't get to go to a casino. The next day though, I think I was up $50, so nothing crazy. Um, and then from there for the rest of the weekend, just did
Just
not win
gave it
anything
back.
else. Yeah,
Yeah.
just gave it back as you always do. House always wins. But I had my fun.
Yeah.
We found this game in Paris, the Paris Hotel Casino.
I
Um,
was gonna say that's a little ways away.
yes, there's only only place where we found it. I don't know if it's in any other ones, but it was called Big Six or something like that, and had a big spinning wheel. Oh, this was my revelation from the weekend. I like games with wheels. So, you know,
Revolution. I see what you did there because it's close to Revolution.
didn't even think about that.
That's a good one.
But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I like steering wheels. I like car wheels. I like going in circles. Like,
It
so
tracks.
roulette is great. Always loved that one. But this Big Six one stole my heart this weekend. It had yeah, it's just a big wheel, and it just like Wheel of Fortune. It spins. It's got the clicker on the top. It slows and stops. It has the numbers 1, 3, 6, 16, and 24 on it, and then four bonus jackpot type slots. Um, and you just bet on what you think is going to happen. So if you bet on three and it hits three, you get $3 if you bet $1. And that was the best part about it. It was dollar minimum bets. And I'm like,
Nice. We
on
love
the
those.
strip, on the strip,
Yeah.
you can't find that anywhere. Even the slot machines aren't dollars anymore. It's fucking
Fucking
ridiculous.
MGM in Detroit is like uh what's the minimum? $25 minimum for
Yeah,
blackjack
$25,
if you can find
$25
it.
tables. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. 'Cause I mean, that's everything on the strip too. So the fact that we found a game that we loved and it was a dollar bet and you could sit there for a good hour on $5, like sign me up. So
Yeah.
that was very fun. So yeah, we didn't win anything, but had fun doing it. Got some big wins. Like I hit on the jackpot one time, and that's how I was up after the first day because I hit on that. It wasn't because I like just gambled well. It was like I hit something cool once, and that's why it was up, and I should have just stopped there. But it was funny because I didn't bet on it like the round before, and I thought I did, and it hit, and then it hit. It was the major. I forget what it was called. They were all four M words: minor, major, mega, whatever. It was one of them that it said it paid up to 500 to 1, but I thought it said it paid 500 to 1. So when I first see it
Mm,
hit that and I missed it, I was like, I just missed out on $500. And then had another wheel that spun that had different 15, 25, 50, 100, 500x or whatever. That determined what you actually won.
gotcha.
So that's why it could be up to 500 because that's what that one offers you. So like it hit 15x and I'm like, "Oh my God." I'm sitting there I'm like, "I just missed out on like $7,500. Like what the hell am I doing?" I'm like, "Off of a dollar bet, this game's crazy." And then when I finally hit it and it spun around, I was like, "Oh, I'm dumb. I
Yeah.
don't know how to play."
Yeah,
So,
but that's part of the fun, you know. You
yeah,
just pull the thing and be like, all right, let's see what's gonna happen. You don't
exactly.
need to know how to play.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah.
fun
Oh yeah.
stuff. But yeah, Vegas was a good
Good
trip.
stuff.
And then we saw the Grand Canyon and Hoover Dam too. So very much enjoyed that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Is there anything else from this race weekend that you wanted to cover?
I don't know about this race weekend overall. Just fun again, fun to see some more of the chaos enveloping, and it wasn't just a McLaren runaway again. Makes it a lot more interesting going forward to watching as we go into the Crown Jewel event this upcoming weekend. The greatest day in motorsports, Monaco in the morning, Indy 500 in the afternoon, and you finish it with the fucking marathon that the Coca-Cola 600 is in NASCAR. Dear God, what a long ass race.
Oh, do you have picks to win?
Too early to say,
Okay.
honestly.
Okay.
Um,
We can probably get into that during our Monaco Pontiac Grand Preview,
yes, we
but
can't give it away. Um,
no.
so we'll be back for a preview there. Um, I will make a prediction. I don't think Leclerc is going to go back to back at Monaco.
Mm,
I don't think he's going to win.
interesting. I meant more
Just gut reaction.
for the Indy race or the
Oh,
NASCAR race.
well, then I definitely don't have a prediction for you.
That's what we'll do. Next, on the Pontiac Grand Preview, we will have predictions for all three races,
I
which
think we
means
could
I
do
have to
that.
learn something about NASCAR.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
There we go.
Well, Kyle Larson is going for the double again. He is racing in the 500 and will attempt to go to Charlotte. He tried that last year, but was unable to do it because of the massive rain delay at the 500 last year. So I don't know what the weather is looking like for the upcoming weekend. I think it's better. I hope it's better, so that way there isn't that delay and he can go for the what would that be? 1,100 miles, which is just a crazy amount of miles to do in a day.
Jeez.
So, but one fun thing that did come out of Indy was rookie qualified first. Did you see that?
Very cool. Yeah, with a rookie team in Prema.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good for Robert Schwartzman, the
Yep.
former Ferrari Academy driver.
Yep.
Will be interesting to see how he does in the race. I think it was his first time on an oval too, right?
I don't know. Yeah,
It's
because I
been
don't think Indy has not been at an oval track yet this year because they did the Indy road course 2 weeks ago. So he was at
hmm,
Indy, but it was the road course setup, so it wasn't the oval yet for that.
interesting. Well, hey, we'll have to see how it goes.
See how it goes, indeed. Alrighty. Well, I think that wraps up here for us for Emilia Romagna. Yeah.
Not Monza.
Monza, but Italian nonetheless.
We love to see it. Awesome.
See you
Well,
next
thanks
time.
for listening, everybody.